Howdy, I'm Northern Dice and I'm going to be unboxing my Season 2 expansion of Cthulhu Death May Die. If you're expecting Bloodborne content last week, apologies, I was busy, and then this week, again, I've been busy, so to treat myself and cheer myself up from all the work I've been doing, I have bought myself an expansion to one of my absolute favourite games, Cthulhu Death May Die, which, like Bloodborne, was designed by Eric M. Lang, but this time also with Rob Daviau, I believe it is. Rob Daviau? Yeah, Rob Daviau. I can't pronounce his name, I'm going to have to apologise there. But Cthulhu Death May Die is based on the Cthulhu mythos, but it's not the investigation element. It is, you've done the investigation, you know what the cultists are up to, you are now just busting into where they are performing all their shady business, and you are going to try and stop them. And if you have to punch Cthulhu in the face a few times in order to do so, you do it. It's very action-packed, it's very, very aggressive, but there is still that investigation element in that you have to stop the different rituals that they're conducting. So, turns out Death may, in fact, die. We destroyed it. Some of us even got out alive, mostly. And it turns out there's another one in Cleveland. Here we go again. So, the Season 2 expands the action of Death May Die, bringing intel and insanity to new heights. Featured inside are 10 new investigators and 6 new episodes. It is an episodical game. You will crack open an episode and each episode is different in terms of what you need to do. What else I love about this game is that you can use any Elder God with any episode. So let's say you do episode 1 4 times and you've got 4 Elder Gods. You can do it with Hasta, Cthulhu, Dagon and Yog-Sothoth. And I think there's also the Black Goat of the Woods as an Elder God expansion that you can get, which is one that I don't own yet, so that's another one I want to purchase. So like all my mini games, or most of them, it is produced by CMON. I just want to have a look at what this is like. So, here we go. We have got some sheets to unplastic is what I'm going to say, and some punch boards. So we'll crack those. We've got our new investigators. I'll talk through those in a second when I have managed to crack those open as well. Here are the episodes. We've got Strange Bedfellows, Nameless Woods, Sanctifictionomen, I can't pronounce that, Shootout at the HP Corral, Monsters in Sin City, Endgame. Ooh, that sounds quite good. And then we also have all of the miniatures in here. So if we slide this out of the way, and if you give me a moment just to get all of the tape off, we'll have a look inside. Okay, I think we're there. So this is 2-layered, so if I take off this first layer, get the last bit of tape off. Get off. There we go. What we've got is the investigators, and we have some strange looking fellas. We have got all 10 investigators and some guys who, I'm going to say they're wearing loincloths, but we're not going to take too close a look at that. It's none of my business. Let's have a look at some of these guys. So, we have what appears to be some sort of holy leader. I'm going to have a look at the characters in a second. I'll be able to put names to faces. I remember in my very first unboxing of my Cthulhu Death May Die Kickstarter that I received, I was over the moon, really chuffed, you know, I went through all the motions like I did with many of them. He's a sailor with a knife. Got overly excited, and I could not for the life of me remember who half the characters were. And I believe that when I was looking, when I looked at the Kickstarter exclusive stuff, I think I referenced Einstein as a cowboy because he had a gun. Who knows what I was thinking? So we have quite a few monstrosities here. None of these are elder gods. These are all mobs that can appear in the game based on which scenario you choose. So I believe this is an elder thing. It's just a mass of writhing tentacles and fins and God only knows what else. Very much what you'd expect Lovecraft to write about. He was a bit messed up, wasn't he? We also have this thing. that I cannot put a name to. I've read quite a few of the Cthulhu Mythos tales, and a lot of these will have been referenced, and of course, how they describe it in the book and how I interpret it might be different to how the designers interpreted it. I mean, this could be a Hound of Tyndalos. Probably isn't. It could be. But look at the detail. I mean, oh my days, is that horrifying. Really does look like a beast from another dimension. Not at all pleasant. And let's have a look at this boy down here. This little tentacled fella. Yeah, pretty gruesome. Now, as far as I'm aware, there isn't much scope to use these in the original core game, but I believe these episodes will integrate the previous components. So let's just pop these to one side for a second. It has got space for all of this, which is quite good. So everything should just fit in when it all comes together as well. So that's quite nice. Let's crack these and have a look at what we've got. So we've got Luke, Mary, just one, Mario, there's that little quote they've got next to him. Alex, holding 2 guns. You do not want to mess with Alex. Not going to say who he looks like. Sam, don't let them these varmints trouble you none. Ain't nothing we can't sort out. Oh. Tony, Big Toon. Hylia. She appears to be someone who's, yeah, she can. I think she can see in the future. Marguerite. Ariel. And Adila. Okay, what I love about the characters in Cthulhu Death May Die as a whole, and of course these ones, is that there is a consistency and an asymmetry to them. So all characters' bottom 2 skills will be based on a pool of abilities. So you'll see that he's got toughness and arcane mastery. He's also got toughness. There'll be someone else who's got arcane mastery. Those are like shared ones that anybody could have. And, you know, they give consistent benefits across as you level up. So in the game, your sanity tracks along here, and anytime you get to one of these points, you get to improve one of these skills. You get more dice as you go on, but of course you also get closer to death. What's interesting about these characters, though, is that their top skill is all unique to them. So in the example of Luke, he may ignore monster abilities, which is absolutely astoundingly powerful. And as that improves, he gains 2 dice. Then you may target any number of monsters when in your space. And when you kill a monster, heal all your stress and wounds. It seems mad. Then you think back to the original game, you had characters like Rasputin, who he had, from the outset, he had 2 lives. If he died, he just came back. And by the end, I think he had like 4 lives in total. Calm, when you rest, heal 1 additional stress. That's insanely good. Navigation, when you run, you may move 2 additional spaces. If you started in a safe space. When making any roll, you may heal all stress if you roll at least 2 elder signs. Yeah, they are just really overpowered. But it's the combination that you've got to have in order to effectively play the game, because these characters are all really, really powerful, all seem amazing, but on their own against some of these beasts and the abilities they've got, and also the fact that you're going to be fighting an elder god, which doesn't just have one phase. You punch Cthulhu and get him down to 0 once, he comes back again with less health, but with more bad things happening. It progressively gets worse the weaker he gets. You need to have a good balance of characters, and that's something I love. Which does bring me on to the fact that I am going to start soloing this game with 2 characters, and I am going to be uploading some videos of this. Hopefully I don't get the rules too askew, because it's been a good long while since I played. Let's crack these punch boards just for a moment. Okay, so I punched them, and you'll notice there's only 2, and that's because these are just additional rooms to go alongside the core game rooms. And also with that, there is the fact that they are double-sided as well. So as much as you can never have this tile on the same one as this tile, it'll never be set up in that manner that you would need it. Go for more tiles. There's not really much special about them other than the fact that the arrows indicate which directions you can go in and out. Other than that, a lot of it is just for atmosphere and theme. How long they are determines how many spaces they have as well. So, an example, this one would be 3 spaces because... would it be 3 spaces? No, only ones like this where there's arrows, apologies. So, it doesn't matter how long it is. If it's not got arrows, it counts as 1 space, other than this one where separate spaces. That's just a long run. It's been so long since I played this. Again, I could be completely wrong, but this is just how I remember it. But you'll notice there's no tokens or anything, and that's simply on that basis that the tokens come in the individual scenarios, which is again something I think is really good and really fantastic, because it means you don't have a lot of messing about with organising, but also you crack open an episode, you play that episode, you just see what's inside of it. So we are actually going to crack open a single episode. So, Strange Bedfellows, which is Season 2, Episode 1. And on the back, it gives you a nice gist of everything that's inside the box. So it tells you which monsters you're going to be using. You'll always use the cultist enemy, which come in the core box. These are the loot that you'll get: locked items, vault, episode card, mythos cards, discovery cards. Discovery cards drive the game, but you can also combine those. You combine those and the mythos cards with different elements of other things as well. Not the different, not those. The mythos cards you combine with the Elder God mythos cards, and you also combine it with the Elder God monster cards as well. So, in example, Cthulhu always has the Star Spawn with him and cultists, whereas Hasta has cultists, and he also has his own specific cultists which have machine guns for some reason. And it gives you a bit of a gist of what this one's all about. So, cultists in Chicago, they've holed up in a bank vault performing the ritual. Fortunately, there are enough unsavoury, unstable folk about in Chicago. We can get their help and their Tommy guns to storm the vault. As I said, it's just all action. I'm going to crack this. If you don't want spoilers, end the video now, or I'll paste a link to the bit after this. Okay, so I'm not going to look through the mythos cards, and I'm not going to look through the discovery cards. I'm more interested in the components that are inside of this, and we get. So the 2 objectives and the actual tokens as well, which come into this. And as you can see, question marks and money. So you're obviously trying to heist it effectively. It tells you the layout. Oh, it's a Chocho, and it was an Elder thing, yeah. It tells you where the starting point is. It gives you the map. The map is always the same for this episode. What will change is based on which characters you choose and which Elder God you choose. Gives you the enemies, and I also like the fact it gives you the actual paint models as well. There's only one Elder thing in the game, so if you were to have to spawn a second one, it would then appear somewhere else. If you look, he never takes any more than 3 wounds from any attack, so you'd have to attack him a few times to kill him. And he adds exclamation mark when attacking if there are no other investigators in the same space, so he's always going to hit you. So, we have a look at this, and it says the same as what we've read there, and it tells you what the ritual is. To disrupt the ritual, and any investigator must enter the vault. To enter the vault, the investigator must have at least 4 gangster companions. When the ritual is disrupted, remove the lock token from the vault. When the Elder One advances, each investigator takes 1 wound for each marked condition they have. Special rules: enemies and investigators cannot pass through the lock tokens. Treat them as if the doors didn't exist while the tokens are there. Lock tokens are removed once the ritual is disrupted. And of course, there's the special actions as well and special rules. So I'm going to pop all those back in there. I am still yet to actually finish quite a few of the chapters from the core game and Kickstarter expansion. So if I do start making a series for that, chances are I'm going to start with episode 1. But if I fail it, I won't be coming back to it. It will be a case of the game wins 1 point, I win 0. It is still a very difficult game, but I think with the right setup, you could win. And I will be including the Kickstarter exclusive stuff. So we will just pop the lid back on this. Try and squeeze it all back into, oh jeez. And there we go. So that was Cthulhu Death May Die Season 2 expansion. I do want to get back to this game, because for such a big box, and for another massive box for the core game and then another box for the Kickstarter, it is very easy to get your head around, get into and get playing. I taught this game in 10 minutes. My partner and myself learnt this in 20 minutes, and it isn't a game you can go far wrong with because each episode is different. So you must learn the episode as you play it because you get a grasp. As long as you know the core rules, you then pick up any episode and it works. Then you've got the Elder Gods to contend with, different enemies. It all becomes very messy, but I tell you what, it's a heck of a lot of fun. Thank you ever so much for sticking around for this unboxing. Apologies there was no playthrough last week and not one this week. Hopefully I'll have a playthrough of either this or Bloodborne next week up. I've also got another unboxing to upload. But as always, thank you ever so much for sticking around. I will catch you next time.